The gospel passage we've just heard comes from a rather long section of the Gospel of Matthew, where there are a great series of miracles, one after another, after another. People are being healed, people are being raised from the dead. And very often in these miracle sections, in this passage, in this section, there's some sort of an expression of faith. And so we have the centurion who comes because his daughter is ill. We have the woman with the 12-year flow of blood who knows that all she has to do is touch the hem of Christ's garment and she'll be healed. We have these two blind men who are asked about their faith. And in the midst of this, we have a little bit of a contrast as well. Because the section we heard today starts out with these blind men following Christ and crying out to him, "Have pity on us, Son of David." Son of David is, of course, a reference to Christ's kingly descent, that he is of the royal house. And we have these two blind men here who up to this point have never seen, and they recognize this truth and they proclaim this truth with their own lips. Contrast that with the miracle that closes this passage, where a man who has been possessed by a demon that has made him mute is healed, and the religious authorities of the day cannot accept it for what it is. And they proclaim that it is by the power of the devil that Christ is casting out devils. Never have the blind seen so well, and never have the seeing been so blind. But not only are they blind, not only will they not accept, but they're vicious. They're accusatory. It's not simply that we're not sure who this man is. We don't know who this man is. We don't know how he's doing it. But they take it to the absolute other extreme. He's evil. And that's how he's doing this. These are the things we need to be careful of ourselves. That in seeing, we don't miss-see. That in seeing, we don't misattribute motives. That we are able to accept something that might be beyond our understanding, beyond our experience, and accept that it just might be coming from God. It might just be a declaration of faith, an expression of faith. One of the great expressions of faith we have is bringing our little ones for baptism. And we've been very blessed in the last 2 weeks to have had 2 baptisms back. One of them was from the Rahme family last week. Rayef's daughter's little girl. And just yesterday, we had Gabby's little girl, Rana, who was giving me a little wave. Hello there. Because last week the family was from out of town. We didn't have the opportunity to have them back the next day for the Divine Liturgy. This week, obviously, we do. And so our custom now is that on the occasion of the first Divine Liturgy, where Raina gets to receive, she gets to come up first and be the very first person to receive today. And so this is our wonderful expression of faith, of trust, of hope in our future, of growth, and seeing a little one brought to life in Jesus Christ, our risen Lord. All of the kids have been very good, but I always, when the parents ask, oh, what if they cry? What if they do this? What if they do that? I said, well, first off, I'm given to understand that in the olden times, if the baby didn't cry at the baptism, Grandma would come and give the baby a good little pinch so that they did cry, because they saw that as the devil going out. And thankfully, I think those days passed. But usually the girls are better than the boys. If you ask, well, what if they tinkle? Girls almost never do. Boys almost always. I was at a baptism at a church once, and when it was coming time for the chrismation, Father was using a little brush to apply the miron, and the boy, reached out, grabbed the brush from Father's hand, and flung it to the back of the church. And I said to myself, oh, these things don't just happen to me. Very good. But it's the boys. It's always boys. We have Christ in our midst. We have been blessed through our baptism and our chrismation to have the eyes of faith. Let's use those eyes of faith in the way they were intended to be used, to see the power of God in this world and to give glory for it. Jesus Christ be glory, now and ever, and unto the ages of ages. Amen.